it's giving that information to somebody that was given to me, passing it on, and allowing them to grow and take that and make that into something that is their dream fulfillment. That to me is such a special gift and opportunity to be able to do that.
Okay, well, welcome to today's interview. I'm going to be doing another podcast. I've been interviewing all the instructors that have been part of Watts Atelier for, the past 10, 15 years, a lot of them. And so I wanted to try to bring some insight to you guys about the people that make this atelier function and why it's such a special place. So I'm hoping that through these little podcasts, you'll get a better understanding of the range of the instructors we have and just how wonderful they are. So we're just going to, just do some casual interviewing here. I got Meadow here, and Meadow's been with me for about, 13 years.
Yeah.
So it seems like just yesterday, you came in. I know, it's amazing. But
Feels like
you've been such a great part of the history of the school, and I'm just so thrilled that you stuck it out and are still here. It's awesome.
Me too.
Yeah. So the first question I had, and I always, I'm kind of go through the regular questions I've asked Eric and Stan and Lucas, is a brief background, like your education and your job maybe prior to when you came to school and what you were doing.
Well, I went to, a pretty normal high school, and I was pretty good in the art program they had there. And after graduating, I decided to go to a junior college. It was more in my budget, and I went to Palomar. Mm-hmm. And they have a pretty good art department. But after a couple years of taking classes there, I felt like I needed something a little more structured. I really wanted to become a better artist. I felt like I could do things that were okay. But when I saw really good paintings and artwork out there, I knew that my work was nowhere near that caliber. And I had been seeing brochures for the school that were posted at the campus. And I would look through the catalog like, when you're shopping for something and you don't have the money for it. It was a lot like that for me. I thought, wow, look how good those people are in that catalog. I really want to go there, but I'm not good enough to go to that school. So after a couple more years, I finally worked up the nerve to come and take a class. And it was one of those things where I just never looked back. The moment I walked in and took my first class, I was like, this is exactly what I need. This is what I've been looking for, where it's actual instruction. It's not 40 students to one teacher and it's just do what you want. It's actually, very constructive, and felt like I could see a lot more progress in a very short amount of time. I was also working at a little grocery store, Trader Joe's, which was a great job. And as part of their kind of thing that they do at Trader Joe's, they would have in-store artists. So I was one of their in-store artists, so I got to do a lot of commercial type of work, sign painting, and little headboard designs and just neat things for the store. And so as I was training at Watts, I would notice that my signs became a lot more successful, or they just had a lot more creativity to them than I had first been doing, where it was just all verbal. But some of the bosses would get a little frustrated because I wanted to really put people on all the signs and all the things I was working on here. And they'd say, just quickly put a description of the product. Don't put, you don't need to make a big fancy picture of a person eating the pasta. And so it was a little tough there for a while. I was having that little struggle.
I remember those years. I remember when you were doing that. I remember the mural too, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah, the mural.
But so favorite periods of art as you got more involved in the school, got more educated, started to kind of, maybe branch out a little bit more. Maybe we probably introduced you to people that you probably had not been exposed to maybe as much. But out of all that, what was your favorite period of art and illustration? I mean, what do you think would be one of those?
Well, it's definitely a snowball effect. You start to like one group. I mean, Golden Age of Illustration is definitely a favorite. You start in an area and it kind of snowballs. It's sort of like the internet, where you just kind of branch out in all these different directions. Before I ever started the school, of course, I would say, I love Da Vinci and Van Gogh and a lot of the more common artists. You can go to a bookstore and find a book on them. And that's the big difference when you start to really unwrap the layers of the onion. It's like you're going to find people, they don't make books on them. They are just kind of hidden in all the layers. And as time has gone on, I've come to appreciate a wide range of art. I think that most good artists have something that you would like to put into your work. You may not want to paint exactly the way they do, but I could look at someone like Rockwell and say, wow, he really knows how to compose a picture. And I could look at someone like Muka and say, wow, he just really knows how to use line and design. And I would love to have a little bit of that quality in my work.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good. I mean, I kind of knew your general background, but you are eclectic like me. I mean, you like so many different people.
I like everything.
And that's good. I mean, that's a good way to go. And be more open-minded. Favorite deceased artist and living artist. So we'll start with the deceased artist, which I know is hard for you. So maybe you can limit to maybe 3 or 4 of your favorites, because I know it's hard.
I have to say the most influential deceased artist that I can think of is Rembrandt. Mainly because I think he capitalized on the idea of painting light, and I think that that's mainly what I would like to strive for, and what many artists strive for in their work, is getting the quality of light into their paintings, because that dictates form, that shows everything that's going on. And if you can capture that aura, or lead people through a painting through the use of the light, then that's a successful painting. So he's definitely a big favorite. I like a lot of the turn of the century artists, of course Sargent. Going into living artists, of course, there's a few big name artists that I really like. Morgan Weisling, Mian Situ, Zia Liang. I feel they are really good in the picture making department, which is something that I would like to strive towards. Jeff, of course, just love the way he paints. Yeah. Okay, now give me that $20.
Yeah, there you go.
There's so many art. I mean, that question, it would take me probably 20 minutes to answer. Another person I really love is Jeremy Geddes. I think he can capture a surrealistic feeling in a painting, but done in a very natural way. I like a lot of the living illustration artists, which to me there's just a very fine line between illustration and gallery painting. Really, there really isn't a line. It just depends on who cuts your check, really.
I feel the same. Fine illustration, fine art, same thing. One somebody's dictating, one you're dictating. There's not much difference, but the demands of the deadlines are sometimes different a little bit.
Yeah, with illustration, you're generally going to have a set payment before you start your job.
Well, I don't
Fine
know.
art's a little different.
I don't know if people know that you're married to Eric, who we already interviewed, and he's an illustrator. So you guys have this incredible dynamic between you're doing your fine art over here, and Eric's right next to you doing his illustration. So you guys really know a lot about both sides of the spectrum. I mean, you've seen the illustration at firsthand. He's seen the fine art firsthand through you. So you guys are pretty seasoned.
Well, he's the one I'll ask, hey, can you think of anybody that can paint this particular subject? Like right now, I want to know who can paint tech really well. Oh, you got Berkey and so-and-so and Martinier and these guys. So he'll have an arsenal of people I can go and look at. And then he'll say, hey, who can you think of that paints, folds of fabric and blah, blah, blah. So then I'll go and find my people.
It's an incredibly cool, and that's one of the funnest things watching you guys grow together and get together in the school. It's just another cool part of the story of the school is, your guys' story is one of the coolest stories of the school.
For teacher.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good. It's really funny. Now I look back and I can't think of you guys ever being apart. But,
I can't either.
But it was just that's a whole nother story we could get into. But biggest breakthrough that you can remember.
I was joking with Jeff earlier. That would be probably getting married, actually. For me, is the biggest breakthrough, because it just helped me focus and have sort of a mission that you were doing with somebody else, almost like a partnership where you're both agreeing to take on this task together. I don't think committing to doing art is something you want to do lightly. It's definitely a sacrifice in a lot of ways, and you have to be on board with somebody that's okay with that sacrifice.
Yeah.
So for me, it was the act of getting married and saying, this is the path we're choosing, and we're gonna go on this adventure together.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, because the camaraderie. I mean, I oftentimes think how difficult it must be, but yet at the same time, how cool it must be to have a spouse that's an artist. Because I was kind of adamant about having someone that was supportive but wasn't an artist, because
that's what I said.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt. But I just really, I know Glenn Orbick and Laura Bleckman, and I know Susan Lyon and Scott Burdick, and there's a bunch of them that
Peggy Kroll
but yeah, but it
Roberts,
takes
Ray
a certain
Roberts.
chemistry to make that work. I mean, it's really a beautiful thing when it does work, but it's hard to get it to work. So it's
Yeah.
really cool. You guys have been doing great with that.
It
So,
isn't easy, but it's really fun.
yeah, you guys seem like you have a lot of fun.
We do. We make it fun.
Yeah. The most unexpected aspect of being a professional, like what really surprised you, I guess, good or bad, that just hit you like, wow, I didn't really realize that. Or something.
Getting reference. When you decide, oh, I want to paint such and such, well, that's just one idea. Well, how do you go from point A to point B? Well, you're going to have to get your reference together for that. Initially, I wanted to paint colonial era and just finding costumes to do a photo shoot so I could paint a concept in my mind was completely strange to me. Mm-hmm. So I had to learn how to sew and find patterns, and it kind of it just made me have to work a lot harder in an area that I had very little knowledge about. And now I'm painting a little bit different subject matter, but I'll have to go and fly out to another state and go to an event and capture that on film and go and meet people that I have no idea if I can explain to them what I need. If I say, hi, I'd like to take your picture to do a painting of, most people are a little put off by that. So just the act of, hey, can I take your picture because I want to do a painting of you?
Yeah.
That's even hard right there. Let alone, hey, can I have you do this thing where you're, posing like this and you're squatting down, you're looking up, and
it puts people in a precarious position.
Yeah, they're like, they don't get it. It's just not common. So
yeah. So that was one of the most unexpected. And then who's really really making waves today? I mean, who's really that you see that? I mean, obviously you've covered some of the living ones that you thought, and which are some ones that I agree with as well. So I don't know. Is there anyone that comes to mind that you say, hey, that person's really?
Well, I always look at you.
Well, thank you.
One of my mentors.
I appreciate it.
Someone that's gone through all the ups and downs of it.
Oh yeah.
Has found ways to use their art to take them to the next place, next station in their development.
Well, I'm honored that you would say that, because I know for me, originally being your instructor primarily, and then now being equal with you guys on so many levels, where I don't really see you now as really students anymore. Obviously, you're just professionals that I can commiserate with, come in and talk about projects, understand that you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. You're going through the same stuff. Like picking reference. I mean, I was out for years doing that, and I don't think anyone really understood the difficulty of that while you're out trying to balance running a school and doing this, and then going to these, out to get Mountain Man reference, or having to. It just takes forever, and you can't really share that with you guys until you go through it, and then you go, okay, now we can talk about that. Like that's what we've been going through for so long, and no one could relate to you when you're going through it if nobody else is going through it, really. So, your close friends become your confidants. You can talk to them about that kind of stuff. So that's really great.
Well, yeah, I'm very fortunate that I can have somebody close to me that I can look at and say, well, what happened? What would you do in this situation? Or what happened when you tried this or that? And so get that little firsthand account. And
live a little bit, like I know I made a lot of mistakes. I mean, coming up, everybody does. And it's kind of nice to be able to share that with other students of yours, so that now, like yourself, so maybe they don't have to make so many, or maybe they can kind of navigate a little bit better. And I think a good teacher would hope that would be the case with their students,
Yeah, you have a lot of empathy for people. And you go, I don't want you to have to go through what I did.
Yeah, it's like having
Let
kids.
me help you out.
Because you guys are kind of like my kids. So for me, it's kind of like...
You're a very old, clumsy kid.
Yeah, I just, even though we're so close in age, but when we all started together, we all grew up in the school together. So the school... One of the things that I thought was so cool about it is we grew as a group, and there aren't many schools like that, ateliers that have a base of people that actually went through like their 20s together, into their 30s together, and now in their 40s together. Yeah,
it was crazy.
I mean, it was crazy. You have to grow up together, and people, go through heartbreak, and they do this and that. You got to go through growing pains with them. It was an amazing
Maturity is a
amazing
big
journey.
Thing.
But now it's so fun to be on the backside of that with all you guys and have you guys be so mature and professional that it's just easy. The school has gone through so many phases, and the hard ones now are weathered easier by you guys being so professional. I don't have to be here all the time or anything. I know you guys are going to do a great job. I know you take pride in it, and you guys are awesome. Yeah, you guys are responsible as it can be. So if you could paint anything, what would it be?
Big epic narratives, whether they be, biblical based stories, or, something, like I was saying, like a rep-in masterpiece, something where you have, 20, 30 figures and the painting works. I could think of ideas for having a lot of people in a painting, but it doesn't mean it's going to be a good story.
Yeah.
So something where I would have this compositional skill to design a whole piece around.
There's nothing like
these
those big
people.
narratives, but they are something else.
They're
I mean,
amazing.
they are something else.
I think they'll break you.
Yeah, Reppin was probably the one that I saw that really, it just makes you want to paint those kind of things.
Yeah, it's just inspiring.
Yeah, it's great. Those are and you can only do so many in your life. I mean, that's the thing is, even those guys, maybe 10, that are
I'd
really.
be happy with one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So,
magnus opus.
so that's what so narratives type stuff. Then favorite art assignment, job, least favorite. I think I know what the least favorite's going to be. What's your?
Right now, I'd say my favorite art assignment is through my new gallery. They asked me to paint Native American subject matter, and my favorite assignment right now, because of the colors and the people are beautiful, and just the romance of it. There's a lot of sadness that goes along with it when you start to read the historical context of things, but there's a lot of beauty as well. And I'd say my least favorite art assignment I ever did was painting a mural for 6 months at 3 in the morning.
I remember it. It was terrible.
Oh, I seriously contemplated giving up doing art altogether during that time, permanently. I thought, this is it for me. I can't get up on this ladder one more day. I don't know how people do it. I mean, it's such an undertaking to do.
Yeah.
I really respect the great muralists, but I can absolutely say I never, ever want to paint anything while standing on a ladder again.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, I
horrible.
remember you guys, you work in graveyard or late because you couldn't work.
I'd have to get up at 2 in the morning, show up at the job at 3, and then I would work from 3 to 9 a.m.
Yeah.
And it was just horrendous. It was awful.
So I don't mean to cut you short on any of these because we got a class starting here pretty soon, so we'll probably try to wrap it up here in a minute. But we got 2 more. So future goals.
Living a self-sustained lifestyle, hopefully, continuing in the gallery work and doing better with that and being able to live off the grid a little bit more, not being so tied to a city. We would like to live a little bit more out in a rural setting and live off a farm.
More animals, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I totally get that. But probably, I think you guys were talking about Julian or something, which would be really nice.
That's
I mean, that's
my
such
dream.
a beautiful place.
Beautiful place.
Yeah, I love that. I
long-term
love it
goal.
up there. Well, that's good. I definitely don't see any reason why that's not going to happen. I mean, for me, I just know you guys will have that happen for sure. I'm pretty confident. And on your easel right now, I think you were mentioning to me you have 2 paintings on your
I
easel?
have 2 paintings. Now I have a beautiful easel. It's pretty fantastic, and it was made by Brad Caston, and he made a lot of the equipment at the school. And my easel can
It's like a
shift
Hughes-
this
kinda
way
like a Hughes
and
easel.
this way. It's like a Hughes easel, but more compact for our little tiny house. So right now I have 2 small paintings on there. I have a comp for a Native American piece I'm working on, a color comp I'm working on, and then I have a steam engine painting I'm working on for a competition. So
Oh, cool.
they're
Very cool.
2 totally different subject matter, some kind of switching off between the 2, and that's what I do when I'm working on smaller pieces. So I can
Yeah, that's nice.
stay. Well, one thing's setting up, and I can move over to the other one.
Yeah, I'm like that too. I love to have multiple things going. I mean, it's partially just my personality, but some people do and some people don't. Some people like to just finish that one piece. But and also the demands. I mean, you got deadlines coming up, you got shows, you've got gallery obligations, all kinds of stuff. So
I think the bottom line is to always work on something. So if you get stuck on a painting where you just don't feel like doing something, then it's good to have another one that keeps you in the flow.
yeah,
So you don't want to go a week without painting, because
Yeah.
you get very rusty very quickly.
very quick, very quick. So one last question, and because we didn't really talk that much about your role at the atelier, or really what is the thing you liked most about teaching or teaching at the atelier? What is your favorite thing, you think?
I like to see people improve, and I like to see the excitement they get from learning a new skill set. That's really what motivates me more than anything. Even if it paid like $1 million an hour, it doesn't have to do with the money. Even if it paid nothing, for me, it's giving that information to somebody that was given to me, passing it on, and allowing them to grow and take that and make that into something that is their dream fulfillment. That to me is such a special gift and opportunity to be able to do that. Not everybody can say, hey, you know, this person helped me and I passed it on to them, and now they're doing something and then they're passing it on. It's just a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it literally changes people's lives forever.
It does.
And that's something that I
Changed
always,
my life.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I feel like. It's just so thankful. But yet, you know, that's what I think when I built the atelier, the goal was to build it from within the ranks of the people in the atelier, so everyone would have loyalty and commitment to a common goal, a common vision, rather than having tons of talented people come in and teach with all different visions and all different opinions, which really makes it hard to keep any kind of continuity. So that's one thing I think is so special about our atelier. People like you that stuck around for so long, and all the other instructors, and became this unit that you're just not going to see that very often. I look so often and don't see, you know, we see a lot of ateliers coming up, but not with that kind of seasoned, you know, teacher staff that's so committed, you know, and so good to each other.
Yeah,
So,
you have to build relationships with people, and to watch progress of a student over a time period. That to me is very inspiring to see. Hey, they came and they felt like they had nothing, and now they're putting paintings in an Etsy shop. You know, just
Yeah.
something as
Yeah.
small as that or big as that, and whatever their goals are, being able to meet that. I think that's just wonderful.
well, good. Well, again, you know, you're one of the most seasoned teachers I had, and one of the best. So for me, it's just been a pleasure to work with you as a student, and then also as an employee, a friend. You know, we're so many different things. It's been complicated at times, but always good. So I really am thankful that you stuck around.
Well, I'm lucky you picked me.
That's cool.
I mean,
yeah.
really, to say, hey, I have a spot for you down the road, it kind of gives you a motivation that you can't really describe. You have this little dream, hey, I'm good enough that I'll be able to pass on those skills to somebody someday. That's a really special thing.
Yeah, it's really been great. I mean, I can't say enough things about it. And that's again why these interviews. We're hoping that there's so many people out there that really don't know about it. They know about our school through hearsay or people talking certain things, but they really don't get to see it firsthand. Who are these people really? You know. So, and I want people also to know that it's not an intimidating environment, and that it's just the most. You don't have to be great to come here. You don't have to be already a working professional. You just need to want to come in and learn. And
Well, I was the worst person in the room when I came the first class, and I know that feeling of just, wow, I thought I was pretty good, and I came from an environment where I was decent, and then I come into an environment where I was literally the worst person in the room, and almost like being in a foreign language, you know, or foreign culture, where you have no idea, everyone's talking, they know the lingo, you're looking around, they all seem to be comfortable, and you feel like such an outsider.
Yeah.
And to have that feeling, and I can see it on people's faces when they come in the first time, and it's like my job as a teacher to get over to that person and make them feel comfortable and make sure they stick around. That's a huge factor in it.
Yeah.
Just have to overcome that part.
Well, I just want to thank you for taking the time to come in. I know, you know, we have such a long history together, so hopefully we'll do more of this in the future. I think we'll do a little roundtable at the end with all the instructors, and it should be a lot of fun. But thanks again for taking the time to come in.
Thank you for having me.
Great to have you be part of the atelier. So thank you guys for joining us again. We will do a few more of these because we've got a few more instructors to go. So we just I want to take a moment to thank you for tuning in and watching these, and hopefully it gives you a little more insight into the workings of the atelier. So join us soon, and I'll see you for future projects. Take care.